Oh, you're being ridiculous. He's a professional football player.
No, look, I'm not talking about killing the guy. I'm just talking about going up there with a group of dudes and intimidate him. Maybe break his arm.
You can't break Tom Brady's arm.
Oh, yes, I can. No more Super Bowls for that pretty boy.
Listen.
Robert better not get in my face, because I'll drop that mother.
What did you say? What the f*** did you just say?
Bomarowski to the near side.
What are you, a fucking lunatic? You and your mom are hillbillies. This is a house of learned doctors.
I respect him as a coach, but I'll be damned if I allow someone to,
But I'm gonna kick you repeatedly in the balls.
You got long balls, man. Long balls. You got long-ass balls.
You can't pick on
You know exactly what you've done, sir.
That's bullshit. I'll say it again. It's bullshit.
Nah, I'm just pissed off.
Let me tell you something with absolute honesty and concern for your well-being. Tom Brady would kick your ass.
You know, I was rude and inappropriate, and, I just want to say I apologize.
I'm sorry that anybody could be offended by something that we were just having fun with, and I enjoyed it, and we're going to continue to do it.
Boys, I'm back. This is Moose Anderson here with the rest of the Ricky Williams Trilogy. Below me, via Zoom screen, I got my boy B-Easy. I'm also here with Duke Thompson. Long live Old Man Rivers.
I mean, I'm doing great. I've been waiting to see you, Moose, because you've been gone drinking. I was very concerned. I really just wanted to send you a bottle of Pedialyte. That's really what I wanted to do.
Yeah, so my buddy, Duke over here was just telling me Pedialyte cures hangovers. The only hangover I've ever cured is by drinking more. And also this old cowboy remedy out in the West. It's called a red beer. You take tomato juice, you just throw a Budweiser in there with some tomato juice, and you're golden the rest of the day. But no, boys, I mean, it was a fun week out here in the Northeast. We celebrate St. Patrick's Week. We all just have IVs filled with Jameson, hospital bags above us, and that's what we do for a week. So it was a rough one, boys. But I'm back. There's some tough news this week, but otherwise, all has been well.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll get the easy stuff now. All right.
Yeah, exactly. We'll go to the easy stuff. We won't attack his tough week. We'll just talk about people's tough brackets. We did have a few rounds of the NCAA.
It's really
tournament.
just tough. It's really just tough win. I was being an asshole. Go ahead.
Or I guess it was a tough week, if you will. Couple of rounds that were rough. You got teams that were getting knocked out pretty early, but for the most part, once the dust settled, pretty much the top-ranked teams all made it through, one of which being Duke after they defeated the 7'6" Taco, a gentleman who was so large, it was insane, but they were able to get past him and move on to the Sweet 16. Another team that's in there is Oregon, Team Nike. How are you going to deny a team that has the benefit of Nike? I mean, you saw the Ball family win against Nike, and look at them. They're crumbling.
They're crumbling. Man. They're crumbling, man, because they make bad business decisions, man.
You know what? Good, too, because you sell shitty shoes that are shitty looking, that are shitty marketed. They're shittily sold. You know what? Screw them. Screw all of them. Screw Lonzo. Lonzo, you're a clown, dude. Stop rapping and work on your jump shot. Honest to God. I mean, honestly, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Also work on free throws, too, if we're going to get into that, Moose. Not just the jump shot.
Sure, yeah, I mean, work on everything, but, really? I mean, really? You didn't expect this from a guy that spent time in jail for fraud and whatever he was in there for? I mean, really? Well, what a joke.
People need second chances there, buddy, okay? So I feel sorry for them losing.
No. Hey, look, I agree in second chances. I don't agree with giving somebody a second chance in the crime that they just committed. Let's
like his own father let that dude take over his finances. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, you can't do that immediately. Like, give him a little time. If somebody went to prison for armed robbery, I'm not going to just immediately, when they get out of jail, give them a gun and directions to a convenience store.
Okay, well, first off, Jonathan, if you know the rules, you're convicted felon, you're not allowed to have a gun, okay? So your analogy is pointless. What you should do is say you should not give him a bank teller job.
Well, either way. I'm just, you can't give him keys to the to the kingdom when he's convicted of stealing money.
Look, well, what about all these marijuana farmers now on the West Coast? I'm sure a few of them got popped for growing weed, and they went back to growing weed.
Yeah, and then they went to the bank and tried to get a bank loan to start their farm, and the bank said, "Whoop, yep, try again, buddy."
That's why you get private investors that give you straight cash, homie.
Yeah, but weed is also illegal. So now you're saying that something that was a crime is now legal.
Weed is not legal where you and I are standing right now, good sir. Maybe where Rhode Island is.
Oh, it's just decriminalized over here, guy. Pull me over. How's your day? Where are you coming from? I'm not discussing my day. And then what do? You shut the fuck up, and it's shut the fuck up Fridays. So there's the recipe.
You see, that works for the white people in Rhode Island, but Jonathan has to deal with some real shit.
Well, yes. Well, I just probably won't be going to Rhode Island anytime soon, so that'll just save me from that.
We're all just literally, you come in here, we're just gonna arrest you.
I'm sure you will. I'll be the only brown person for miles.
Dude, there's only like 10 miles of Rhode Island. What do you mean?
Yeah, and for all 10 of those miles, it'll be. Hey. Well, we've gotten well off topic here. We were initially talking about the NCAA. I mean, we kind of talked about the Ball family falling apart, and I'm sure we'll find out more about that as it unravels with, the taxes and everything. But in the NCAA, there's, only 16 teams left. Duke, who do you think's going to be standing on top of the mountain at the end of it?
Too hard to tell, dude. Right now, I know we got a gambling show, Money Mouth. Gonna plug that right now. But we didn't do too well the picks. But I don't know, man. Virginia seems like they're really surprising me. I don't know where the hell they're coming from. Duke just barely got by UCF. They're gonna get beat. Man, just up for us right now.
Not every team is gonna have a man 7'6", dude. Like that's ridiculous.
Also, wait, have you guys ever seen that kid's original claim to fame though when he was in high school? And he was about, he had to be over 6'5" at the time, easily if he's 7'6" now. And he had this. Now I'm not fat shaming. I'm fat, but he had this massive, maybe 5'10" dude covering him. Now Taco Fall, for any of you that know, is a 7'6", 180-pound soaking wet man. He is tall. He is slender. He is not all that athletic, but man, can he ball, right? In high school, I'm telling you, this kid had to be 5'10", 300 pounds. And it was the funniest video I've ever seen this dude trying to block him. It was the funniest thing. He just kept poking him with his belly. Just kept poking him with his belly. But anyways, that was a fun game to watch, though. It really was. And the heartbreak at the end of it, man, I mean, it just came down to that those boys just didn't have the skill at the end to put it in. I mean, that's what I saw, because there were two chances. The first one didn't seem like it'd be a chance at all. The second one had to have eaten that kid alive at night. I mean, it was going right. All he had to do was put it another inch to the left, and it was in, if that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens, though, when it comes to March Madness. That's kind of the madness of it all, where it's just, one break goes one team's way and just could be a game of inches, where if it just went a little further one way or the other, history could have been changed. But it didn't go that way. So
right. And that's the thing about March Madness, man, that it's I don't watch basketball. I loathe basketball in regular seasons. You won't catch me watching more than one or two Celtics games a year. And it's mostly because, IT came back, or something like that. Or we're playing LeBron and I want to see LeBron get smoked.
Right.
But
yeah, I
March
understand.
Madness,
for Boston, the team's a little too brown right now. So I understand.
I mean, we got Baines and we got Hayward. I mean, we could have gone after somebody a little better than Hayward, and then he broke his ankle.
That accident happened again recently in Portland.
Oh, was that? Oh God! Again, I'm not Jerkic.
No, I think it's Yusuf Norkic. Norčić.
He's some Prague, Czech Republic mother.
Yeah.
That was gruesome. What was even worse is that his leg snapped in half. For anybody that saw it, his bone maybe was poking his skin, and if not, his sock. And the referee took a step over him and hit his leg.
No, man.
Dude, no, like really? Honestly, honest to God, I don't know if any more damage could have been done. That's how mangled this fucking dude's ankle was.
But
it
looked hard.
Over. Oh, dude, it was horrible.
It was hard to look at.
Oh, I can't look at the legs breaking, man. It's just like, oh my God, the pain.
Well, especially on something that wasn't that bad. It looked like he just jumped up and came down. I mean, was it the fact that he was still playing in double overtime and there was just, a lot of wear and tear on the legs? Speaking of double overtime, that's the name of my new TV show that's going to be on LA TV starting next week, everybody. But anyway, back to this man's broken leg.
Subtle brag.
Hey, you know what? We're just going to try to make this all work so that we can all get paid in the end. But again, dude, it was crazy to see his leg just fall apart, man. And it really kind of helped the season for the Trailblazers to fall apart as well. Cause without a center, I don't know what they're going to be doing. So, but these accidents are crazy, man. And they seem to be happening a little more often. Like I don't recall so many times where people were just jumping up and down.
You know why? I know exactly why. Because more people are drinking almond milk and not regular milk.
Oh,
I'm telling you right now. Listen.
Almond milk?
I've never seen the boobies on an almond. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, he's pulling the Colt McCoy card, man. Where Colt McCoy came out this week and he to drink all milk and he wants to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're drinking cashew and almond milk. Like that's why your legs keep breaking. Why don't you just get underneath a cow, work the udders, and take some protein in? I mean, these kids. Are they not even drinking?
I don't know about straight from the teeth.
Yeah, but it's pure protein, Jonathan. Let's be honest. I'm a stick boy, so you work with me here. I don't actually think that's the reason. I don't know if there is an actual reason, but if there was, scientifically, I would blame it on the fact that we want to get rid of dairy cows. That's what I would do.
I mean, I also think just our centers are getting bigger and are jumping higher. Right. I think that's it too, man. And I think it's just a lot more for these bones to handle. Now, it could be the fact that they've switched to almond milk, but I mean, hey, I don't know that man's diet. If I find out that he's been drinking almond milk, then yeah, I'll talk shit about almond milk from here on out. But until I know that man's diet had almond milk or cashew milk or any milk that ain't real milk, I can't really blame that stuff just yet.
Well, I wouldn't blame the cows, man. Why don't you look at the other things, man? The man's shoes, man, like Zion. His shoe just exploded, man. Where have these shoes?
Yeah, well, I don't know if this is fact. Has he been wearing Adidas since then? He's been wearing Kyrie's, hasn't he?
Well, no. Well, Kyrie's are Nike, so
they are Nike.
Went back to Nike with good faith, I'm sure, meaning like Nike's gonna pay him out the second that he gets to the NBA.
Well, he was looking at $75 million for a contract. He's looking at least 90 now.
They'll probably give him like $120 because the fact that he showed good faith and came back and played the rest of the season. Because think about it. He could have just left Duke high and dry. He's still going to be a number one pick. So he went back. He's doing well in the tournament. He's showing that he plays hard. I mean, it's a testament to his character. So I think, they're gonna pay him pretty well for it showing good faith. I think somebody who's not going to get paid well by Nike is Lonzo Ball because he didn't go with them immediately. He went with Big Baller Brand, which is falling apart. He'll be lucky if Nike even gives him something. He might have to go to Reebok.
That dude will be lucky if Stephon Marbury hits him up for his shoes. Are you kidding me? At this point?
Well, no one's going to get the shoes, but and that's the thing. It looks like the company's folding as far as that, but like. Who's picking up Lonzo Ball now for his shoe contract? Because he needs to have some shoe that he's wearing on the basketball court because it can't be Big Baller Brand, which is probably why he's been getting injured the last 2 years. He's wearing crappy shoes.
See, that's my point. What if the quality of Nikes has gone down?
No, those were
Nike's never been worth what people pay for them.
Yeah.
Yes, but I mean, what if the quality has even gone down worse now? You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. That's a good.
I don't know if the quality's gone down. I mean, the problem is we look at the shoe differently because when an NBA player wears the shoe, they wear that shoe one time and wear that shoe hard. Whereas a college player is wearing that shoe for weeks. They're not giving them new shoes every game. So it's a completely different thing,
I mean, Lonzo Ball could have came out of that draft and he could have gotten 50 shoes a month if he wanted.
Right.
In all honesty, I mean, he had the power between him and his dad to do whatever they wanted. I mean, honestly, without his dad, I don't think he was going that high in the draft.
No, I mean, it was proven that Fox is a better player anyway, and it looks like you could tell that up in Sacramento right now. Fox should have gone to the Lakers. He should have been their number 2 pick or the number 3. I don't know what pick he was, Lonzo, but either way, he should have been that early pick. It shouldn't have been Ball. It should have been Fox. And you could tell just by how the teams play that team is run better because they have a better point guard that's not injured because his dad makes crappy shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, the Triple B, the Better Business Bureau.
Yeah, has been investigating them, I'm sure.
Well, they got an F grade. They got a worse grade than the guy that makes My Pillow, who was sued for millions of dollars. Listen, here's the deal, right? It's just Lonzo needs to break as far away from his father as possible right now.
Well, it looks like he is. I mean, he changed his tattoo. He's gotten rid of his father from all social media with him. I mean, all of them because, well, first, you knew Big Baller Brand was going to fall apart if all 3 of his kids didn't make it into the NBA like he claimed. I mean, that's kind of the whole 3 Bs. All 3 balls are going to all be in the NBA, but they aren't. It looks like he's only getting 1. So that's already where things are falling apart. Then you got, shipments that don't make it due to the fact that apparently, I guess, they were hijacked by pirates or something. I'm not exactly sure why a whole shipment of – they just claimed a whole shipment of shoes went missing. And we're like, okay. So then people weren't getting their shoes. If you did get your shoes, they were the wrong shoe or the wrong color or the wrong size. So everything was wrong in this company. And then money is missing. I mean, it was a failed thing from the get-go because they didn't have the collateral to even compete with these big companies. So I don't know why people were thinking that this was going to work in any way. It looked like a scam from the start.
Yeah, and here's the other thing, dude. You can't sell your product if you're not worth shit. I'm sorry, but Lonzo Ball is not worth the pick that he was chosen at, and his father isn't either. And you know what? I give Lonzo Ball some credit for doing a little bit of a breakaway. The whole change of the tattoo thing is a little soft for me, honestly. Because you started a company, you live and die with that shit, and you get some stupid ass dice that don't even look at all symmetrical. It's a little soft. I mean, that's all I'm saying. First of all, you probably shouldn't have gotten your company's name tattooed on you. That's a mistake. Yeah, you're an idiot. I understand it's a really cool thing. I mean, let's be honest. He was a kid. He was, 20 years old when he was drafted, 21, 22, whatever, right? So you're young. You're young as hell. You don't know lick of shit. I'm 24. I still don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? So, I think it was obviously a mistake from the beginning. But, if he owns up to those mistakes and, doesn't blame it all on his father and just removes himself, I think he'll be fine. The next one in line to get it is LaMelo. And he's getting it everywhere he's gone. He might not even be able to play NCAA. No, so he did play pro, but he never received a paycheck from the company or the team itself. I use the term company because pro athletes are employees, but he never received a paycheck. So there's a little bit of discrepancy between whether he can play or not. The NCAA could allow him to, but I don't see much of a chance of that happening. So it'll be interesting because he's good. LaMelo has game. he's pretty good. Had he stayed in the U.S., and probably if his father didn't say anything, he'd probably be a top 10 pick in the draft at some point, and he'd probably be able to go to almost any school he wants to. But, because his dad's an absolute jackass, an asshat, he's not going to be able to.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard for any college if he is eligible to want to go through whatever hellstorm is his father.
Well, man, it's such to see a business fail. They tried, but hey, best of luck to them anyway. You know what I mean? That's all. It's such to see people try to get scammed like that because what was it, $3 million, $3 or $4 million?
$1.5 million.
$1.5 million is missing.
It's a lot of money. Yeah, that's a lot of money that they're never going to get back.
Yeah, and there was also like allegations that they weren't paying people in their league. I mean, it's just it looks real bad all around.
Yeah, I mean they had an empire growing for a little hot second there. I mean, to have your own development league is a pretty big deal. I mean, especially when you're a name like LeVar or Lonzo. Like for a whole year, nobody was talking about anything else but those guys.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't talking about NFL owners. We weren't talking about scandals. We were talking about LeVar and Lonzo Ball, and mostly LeVar, to be honest. So they had a good run. You had a good run, LeVar. Screw off. Leave us alone to our sports. Please don't come back until your son is able to get drafted, and then definitely come back. We're going to want that energy again.
Well, well, speaking of the developmental leagues, the AAF looks like it might fold, boys.
Well, it's not a developmental league. That's why it's going to fold.
No, because they wanted to help out with the NFL for developmental league. The NFLPA will not allow them to use any young players. So I don't know why the NFL wants to be like this, because the AAF is not competing with them. They should be able to develop these guys, but I guess they still want to use the NCAA and the free players as their developmental league, which is sad because we could have used more football.
Well, I just don't understand why they can't allow any of this to happen. Like, we're not talking about your main stars coming out of college or something like that. We're talking about people who are on your practice squads in the first place. Those are the players.
Right. We're talking about the Vince Papalis, man. We're talking about the dudes growing up in cities that are trying out for a team just to play, right? And every other league has an idea of what a development league should be. The NBA G League, some of those dudes can ball.
Right.
Like if you've watched the highlights from those, and I know a lot of them can ball, some others can't, but those guys can ball. You go to a AAA baseball game, you're basically watching the same game with cheaper tickets, cheaper hot dogs, and cheaper beer, right?
That depends on where. Not in Nashville.
Also true. Yeah. Well, in Providence, they sell stuff cheap. I mean, we're not going to be in Providence long, or Pawtucket anyways, long. So, but then you got hockey, right? Hockey does it great too. Now I know it's mostly a Northeast thing, and so is the NHL. But they do it great too. I mean, there's always a packed audience. And then you got football. And it makes no sense that you wouldn't want to have, 32 teams up here and 32 teams down here owned by those other teams. It doesn't make sense at all. There are so many football players out there that would be willing to take a small, tiny bit of money in order to play in that league.
Right. And I think a lot of it is because the NFL owners, as rich as they are still ultimately very cheap. They don't want to pay for their giant arenas that are costing billions of dollars. They don't want to pay for anything but, I guess, the players that are there, and that's it. They don't even pay for the extra facilities they get. Like, that's also stuff that those cities cover. Like, they don't pay for any.
Right, but you don't think there's enough people out there that would be willing to take on a minor league football team?
Well, the thing is, who's going to be taking on the money from it, because the NFL will have to approve of every owner. You know how they get. they only approve of every owner, so they would have to approve of every owner that owns a minor league football team too. And so they would start being real nitpicky and scrutinizing that stuff.
I guess that's a good point.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of chaos in it, man. It wouldn't happen overnight. It would be like an overtaking of the NFL of that league. And I think that's kind of what the NFL is probably trying to do. They're probably waiting for the league to completely go under and need their help, and then they just take over the league.
Well, I want to see them actually partnership, but like I said, they just want to still use the cheap NCAA as the developmental league.
Well, that might not be an option for them anymore, because the more people start chirping about these players needing to get paid, I don't think it's not going to stay that way forever.
Well, you know how scammy the NCAA is, that they actually created a ton of student athletes. So they don't have to pay any type of insurance to these kids, because I do believe they are employees of the university, because they do represent them and they generate money for the university.
Well, the NBA's talking talking about getting rid of the one and done. And if the NBA gets rid of one and done, dude, like, then there's no reason for college basketball anymore. Yeah.
Well, but the point with college basketball back in the day, without the one and dones, it was a better game, because those kids at least played a few years. Now with the one and done, it just says like, bam, they only go to college so they can just get the stock up in the draft and get their name recognized, because most of these kids could go fucking straight from the NBA, from high school to the NBA, like Zion.
Yeah, I mean, not all of them can, but yeah, Zion's one who could. And yeah, so I mean, there will still be players. You just won't be getting your Zions. You won't be getting people like, LeBron James, who didn't go there anyway.
Yeah,
like
Kobe,
those players are going to be too big for it.
Garnett, Kobe, LeBron.
There's Tracy McGrady. I mean, there's quite a few.
Tracy McGrady went from high school?
Yeah, he was like, dude, Tracy McGrady, as far back as I remember, I couldn't tell you exactly when he was drafted, but I know I was alive for it. And it was a huge deal. I mean, it was as big as LeBron's, only you didn't have the social media to back it up.
Yeah,
right.
True.
And even during LeBron's time, we didn't have it. Like, it is crazy looking back 10 years, how much a development society is made, behind social media. And now you got these guys and you're following them, everything they say. I mean, Antonio Brown put out his stupid little podcast the other day, The Boomin' Experience, and he put out his actual conversation with his agent about the Patriots. Did you guys hear any of that?
Oh, here we go. You all upset because he talked bad about the Patriots.
No, he didn't. He didn't talk bad about the Patriots at all. He wanted to come to us, and his agent was saying, I know the Eagles are involved. I know the Patriots are involved, and I know Oakland is on the back burner now.
And Tennessee was involved too, man.
And Tennessee was involved. Antonio Brown mentioned that as well, and so did his agent. Basically, it came down to AB, being like, if the Patriots make a move and make an actual thing, will it happen? Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, it didn't end up that way. We did, however, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast at all. The Patriots did offer a second and a fourth. He was traded for a third and a fifth. Am I wrong?
Yeah, because I think and Tennessee also offered higher too, but he chose Oakland.
Yeah, well, he didn't choose Oakland.
Yeah,
the Steelers. I mean, Steelers maybe with Tennessee, but I know for a fact that the Steelers did not choose the Patriots for two better picks. So I mean, there was definitely some I would have given up a first round pick for him without a doubt.
Well, I think they wanted to send him where they knew that he probably wouldn't succeed.
I mean, look, no one knows who the quarterback is ultimately going to be in Oakland next year or even later on this year, because no one believes Derek Carr is going to be there. If he's gotten rid of Khalil Mack and Cooper, I mean, what keeps them there?
John Gruden came out yesterday or today saying, "That's Derek Carr's my boy. We got Derek Carr. He's a franchise quarterback, blah, blah, blah." It's hilarious because we know he ain't going to be there. You're right. Derek Carr's gone.
No, it's a joke, dude. It's really a joke. And I don't know.
But the thing is that most people that aren't us, actually think Carr could be a good quarterback. And here's why. It's because he's had no receivers. He really has. Like Amari Cooper, he's great and all, but he was shit with the Raiders, whether it was the coaching staff, whether it was Amari or Derek. Now, you guys damn well know I've never had faith in Derek Carr.
I disagree.
I never had.
I disagree with that. I think what happened was when he broke his leg, man, he got a little happy feet in that too. I mean, that's a painful injury when he broke his fibula. I mean, that was, I mean, I'm sorry, but I'd be getting happy feet too if I had 400-pound man coming rushing my butt like that too. So I think, because I've seen him do well. I've seen him excel with Amari Cooper. And just something just didn't seem right after he broke his fibula. I mean, maybe because it's just a mental thing. Maybe because it's like he lost confidence in himself with that back throwing leg. But, man, something because I liked him. I thought he was good. I just thought he needed the right coach. And I just don't think John Gruden's the right coach. So he's going to ship him off.
Well, definitely he's not the right coach for anything or anybody.
Got that right. Thank you, John, for preaching that. Yes, because he's the most overrated coach to me. He took Tony Dungy's team and won a Super Bowl by beating his old team. So
he did, yeah. I was in a conversation over Facebook this weekend with a group chat from a bunch of guys in Seattle that, you know, defended Derek Carr a little bit, defended John Gruden. And you know, I'm joking about it a little bit, but also like I told them, guys, I don't have a lick of faith in John Gruden. I don't have a lick of faith in that organization. Mark Davis, that dude looks like he's a featured character on South Park. That's what he looks like. He does
not look like he knows anything about the game.
That dude looks like a wet sponge with a bowl cut. Like that is him. And that's that whole organization. They didn't know where they were playing up until a couple months ago or a month ago or less than a month ago.
Well, that's because Oakland's butthurt as hell about them leaving, man. I'm still I can't believe they're going to Vegas myself.
If I was Oakland, I'm surprised they even allowed them to stay. I'd be like,
yeah,
exactly. Let me ask you a question though. Would Antonio Brown accept a trade to Oakland if he knew they weren't going to Las Vegas?
No, not at all. Mm-mm. He's using it as he knows that he'll at least be topic of conversation for at least 2 more seasons.
Good for him.
Yeah, they'll talk about him because of the fact that he's playing for Oakland and they're going to Vegas, and then they'll talk about him as they're going to Vegas, and then they'll talk about him because he's in Vegas. So.
Yeah, and good for him. You know what? Not for nothing. He's no Julio Jones in my book, but he definitely deserves it. And you know what the funniest thing is that Le'Veon Bell pulled this absolute spectacle, and he got paid less money for it. And Antonio Brown literally said, "Trade my ass." And he got traded, and he's getting paid as the highest wide receiver in NFL history. And I think it's hysterical because it was 2 completely different paths. You know what I mean? Like, you got a guy who is at the absolute top of his game at running back. He is young. He is agile. He's fast. He's one of the most explosive dudes we've ever seen since Ricky Williams. Hashtag it. And he holds out a whole year and gets paid less. And then you got his teammate, which is even funnier. Like if Antonio Brown came from a different team and ended up getting paid as much as he did and getting paid more than he was originally getting paid for, then it would be just as funny. But it's even funnier because it was his teammate. The whole situation is just ass backwards.
Yeah, I think Bell just kind of fell into I needed to get paid finally because he went a whole year without getting paid, thinking that maybe he would get his money eventually, and he never did. So then it just turned out to be a bust. Antonio Brown didn't have to worry about it because he played for a year. He had his money. You know, there wasn't money that was lost for a full year. Whereas, you know, Bell's like, look, I got to take the deal that comes my way because there might not be a better deal coming down the door or coming to knock on the door, you know. So, like, he just had to do what he had to do. I mean, also, Oakland is kind of a stupid organization. So they were going to pay him out just because of his name. I mean, look, they've already gotten rid of top-tier players, and they're paying Carr some of the highest money of any quarterback, and he hadn't proven it really to be getting the money that he's getting. So they're already
showing a playoff game.
Right. So I'm saying they've already shown that they'll waste money. So
right. I had some guy ask me this weekend, do playoff wins mean that you're a good quarterback? And I said, yeah.
Well,
Because
of
like
course.
if you can't get playoff wins and you're in the top 2 percentile of money being paid out to players, like you gotta win playoffs. I don't care who you are. You make the team better. How do you win playoff games? And I know it's different. I'm a Patriots fan, and that's what I've known since I was 5. But that's what it is, and that's what it should be across the entire league. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I think it was like 4 or 5 of the top 8 quarterbacks this year statistically did not make the playoffs. Those including Matt Ryan and the world great Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's just a joke.
Well, I mean, when you play in a joke division like you guys do, you guys are guaranteed 6 wins every year. So, opponents in your team, you got the Jets. You haven't done that. This is Joe Namath. Then you got the Buffalo Bills. Bless their heart, they try, but man, they can't get nothing going.
Well, I mean, but come on now, Duke. In fairness, there ain't nothing coming out of your division either. I mean, if you really want to go into it, your division only has the Colts coming out, and they've won
Colts,
a couple.
Texas. We had 2 teams make the playoffs last year.
Yeah, and then get bounced pretty quick. Yeah, and every division has a playoff team, regardless of how bad the division is. They still send somebody in there.
You feel the AFC West out. I mean, AFC East out, dude. I mean, like, I'm saying.
I'm not defending. I'm just saying your division ain't great.
These teams, yeah, we used to be great. We were the part of North. What was it? The Central, the AFC Central. Before they
How long ago was that, Duke?
That was
a while
actually
back. That was a while back. That's back when the Steelers were in there.
Yeah, because when we were playing the Steelers 2 times a year, you knew you had to show up.
Fair enough. Play up to competition, play down to it. I get that. Then how don't we play down to competition then?
Because those teams have horrible management. They have horrible coaches. They got horrible owners. That's what I'm saying. So they're never going to improve. It's like they don't understand why they need to say the first thing for us to do is to beat the Patriots. Then maybe we could worry about winning some more games. Because if you can't win your division, then you shouldn't be getting to the playoffs, man. And I mean, they haven't got the playoffs in forever. The Jets, when was the last time? Like Rex Ryan?
Mark Sanchez, because he was like the last person to beat the Patriots or something.
Yeah, he was the last guy to beat the Patriots from the AFC East to the playoffs.
Yeah, so
and that was embarrassing.
Yeah, so I mean, it has happened, Duke. It wasn't like it was 2 decades.
I don't know, man. The Jets, dude. They just seem like this. Jets just throw crap at the wall and nothing sticks, man.
Well, they've picked up Bell. They should be much better.
Yeah, and they're gonna just run him down, dude. That's all they're gonna do. They're just
They still believe in Sam Darnold, so they'll have that boy throwing interceptions. Yes, they will. They'll let him throw his. They still believe in him, and I do not know why.
He had a couple of good games, but he had more than a couple of really bad ones.
Yeah, just like Josh Rosen, who apparently may or may not stay in Arizona, but we'll see. We'll find out. But
He's not staying in Arizona.
Yeah, I don't think he will either. But boys, the baseball season's coming up. We got to talk some wild allegations. We got to make our picks for who we think we're going to be in the World Series, because why not? There's so much time in between now and then. Let's just sound like complete idiots.
This is what we do. Right?
Exactly.
This is the same thing as guessing right before the season starts. I mean, you don't know.
Yeah, nothing.
None of these analists know. None of these analists know.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, we can go. Well. If we're gonna go that, I was just saying the World Series, but
no, I just want to say about
our division. Let's do our division or our division winners, wild card, and who's going to be in the World Series.
Man, I ain't even know who the divisions no more. Just do the World Series,
Jesus
man.
Christ, man.
No. We'll help you through it. I know MLB. You know, you got to be.
There's only 6 divisions, man. You have
you got to be a drunkard. Yeah, but you gotta be a drunkard to follow like who's winning the divisions. I mean, Jonathan, let's be honest. Nobody cares.
The playoffs.
No, nobody cares until August, and then everyone's like, "Oh, baseball! I love baseball. Oh, get me a Bud Light."
Well, that's what I'm saying. We might as well make these wild allegations now. He says that the Padres will make the playoffs, so I mean, let's just go from there.
I'll make a bet right now, Duke. If the San Diego Padres make the playoffs, you have to buy a counterfeit China Andrew Luck jersey, and you have to wear it.
I ain't gonna do that. I don't believe that. I don't believe the Padres that much, man. I don't believe the Padres that much. I was just trying to be like a Skip Bayless fan and just does some wild accusations out there.
I caught you. Yeah, we're not Skip Baylessing around here. We're not doing that.
That's how Skip Bayless got his money, man. You know, just trying something new.
Well, look, we'll start off with the AL East, a division that is well known by old Moose over there. His team, the Boston Celtics, or not the Boston Celtics. Wait, you can't hear me?
Celtics, the big AL East Boston Celtics.
Can you not hear us, Duke? Can you not hear?
He cannot. He's having some technical.
I think you're having technical difficulties on your end, which would be bad because that would be technical difficulties for the podcast in general.
Call the IT guy.
Dude, we got to get the IT guy on the phone. Anyway.
Hey, get Norm in here. Get Norm Nelson in here.
So anyway,
Norm's on his way, Duke.
In the East, we've got teams like the Red Sox as well as the Yankees, who are the top two ones that people believe are going to actually get through this. Who can't you?
This is great radio. The AL East.
I mean, I'm saying it's probably going to still be the Red Sox again. I don't see any other reason for any other team to get through.
Okay. It is. What do you think? Giancarlo Stanton's going to fake his way all the way to the playoffs?
I mean,
and all the way to the top of the AL East again? Get out of here.
Well, the Yankees have, some actual good talent there. I mean, they're probably going to be the wild card team.
Fuck out of here. No, they don't.
They picked up Tulowitzki, got him running short.
Sick.
I mean, look.
I remember hearing about Tulowitzki back in 2011, dude. Listen, Jonathan. I'm from the Boston area. I know this shit.
Yeah, and you're gonna be very biased. That's
listen. Just listen to me. Yeah, just listen. I'll put on my Sox voice for you. All right. The thing about it is, the Red Sox are going to win. There's absolutely no question about it, all right?
Yeah, I didn't say you weren't winning the division.
Right, Jonathan.
It's the wild card. I'm sorry. They're going to be number 2 right behind you. That's just how that's going to be. That's real.
It's going to be Baltimore.
Baltimore? Well, you're still drunk.
Baltimore? Right. More like Boramore. Yeah, I get it, Billy Madison, motherfuckers. Listen.
You're still drunk. You're still drunk.
Yeah. Also true.
Where you think Baltimore is going to be getting into the postseason?
Listen, I'm just never gonna guess the Yankees. It's just I'm a homer.
That's fair, dude. I'm fair.
A homer, dude.
I'll just tell you the realism of it all. It's gonna probably be the Yankees.
No, man. I don't know, man. Aaron Judge, man. If that kid comes on through, it's scary. I don't know how the Yankees get all this talent there.
Scary when a guy comes up to the plate and he's either going to hit a home run or he's going to strike out.
Hey, well, that's baseball now, dude.
That's general conception. He's like 3 minutes ago, I don't even know who's in the divisions, but that's baseball. But that is baseball. You're exactly right.
Yeah, when I was growing up, man, they had more about stats, about singles, about RBIs, about hitting. Your batting average is more important. Now, everybody is after the Mark McGwire era and the juiced up era. All people want to see are home runs. That's it. No more, no less. Hey, if you can't hit the dinger, then you ain't worth nothing, man. And that's sad because I love a good suicide squeeze, man. I love bunting. I love.
Is that the oldest thing I've ever heard in my entire life? Is I love a good suicide squeeze, man. You're from a different time, man.
Yeah, dude. Probably the last time that happened was like 2006, man.
Actually, I watched actual real baseball in the 90s. I know that he grew up with that AL because with a designated hitter crap because you don't want your pitcher to hit a ball. He's too scared to go out there and swing. If he's on the field, he deserves to be hitting.
I've always believed that, dude. I've always hated that the two leagues have two different rules. It never made sense to me. It was just because some owners came together and decided we can make more money, because the American League was struggling at that time and the National League was old baseball, so they already had established, teams and fan bases.
Right.
So
it's so funny.
League,
it's like a comic straight out of like a Sunday newspaper. Like, oh, we're the new school way. We do it the right way. And then the old people are like, well, we're the old school way, and that's the way it should be. It's
right.
It's like a Family Guy episode. Like, hey, you remember that time that baseball was discussing stuff? That's literally what it is. But no, I'm excited, man. I mean, I love baseball season. Why? It's an easy sport to follow when you're drinking, and you really don't have to be watching the entire game the entire time.
That's true. It's true. Well, I'm going to call right now that it's going to be the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series, just because that's the best for money.
Will, you think the Dodgers going to make it again?
Well, here's the thing. They're going to win their division because there's no one good in their division. The Diamondbacks got rid of all their good players. The Rockies are still the Rockies. The Padres are still the Padres. And the Giants are just a dumpster fire. And their CEO is beating his wife because he's got some nudie photos on his iPad.
Oh, my God, dude. That video was nuts.
It was clearly a man who had some sensitive material that he didn't want his wife to see.
I wouldn't go as far as to beating.
No, I mean, it wasn't a beating. It was a
shit.
violent tussle, if you will.
Yeah, well, they had problems from the start. I'll tell you what. She screamed bloody murder as soon as he started going near her.
Oh yeah.
Well, Duke, have you not seen this video?
I'm actually watching it right now, dude. Yeah, that guy has some stuff on that phone, man.
Yeah. There was something he didn't want.
Yeah, that whole situation.
That was. Yeah. She is on the ground, and he just almost looked like he's about to hit her, dude. Like just straight.
Yeah. He was close.
He was close. Yeah, he wanted to. He was like, "Don't you ever look at that? That is where I have my mistress's phone numbers." He was very upset about something he didn't want her to see.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'll never guess because I want to know every single fact that's out there most of the time. If I make a statement or a guess, it's usually based on comedic reasons. But I would want to see everything involved because, dude, just from the jump, none of that seemed right. Like on either side of the relationship, like. It seems like either he's been beating her for a while or vice versa. Like, I can't tell because it just seems like that's an ongoing.
Well, I got the quote from him. He told the Chronicle in an interview, quote, he said, quote, "My wife and I had an unfortunate public argument related to a family member. And she had an injured foot and she fell off her chair in the course of the argument. The matter resolved. It was going to squabble over a cell phone. Obviously, it's embarrassing." End quote.
Yup. He's abused her. Yep. Yeah, I've made my decision.
Yeah, that seemed real sketchy there.
How does your injured foot make you fall out of a chair?
I'm definitely gonna guess them. I think I have all the confidence in the Red Sox this year. I don't care about their bullpen. I think their bats will get it done. As far as the NL goes, I can see why you'd have the Dodgers there. I'm going to have the Brewers there. I think it's been too long since, a team like the Brewers or the Pirates or even the Padres have been to the World Series. So I could see it happening. So I'm going to guess the Sox with the Brewers, man. I think Milwaukee's going to make a splash.
Yeah, I still don't think Milwaukee's going to get it done. If there's any team coming out of that division getting it done, it's probably going to be the Cardinals. But
really,
yeah, I mean they made some good additions. I think
the Cubs are in for another 90 years of torment.
Yeah, oh no. I mean, everybody basically got mad that the Cubs won, so they've been just trying to figure out a way to, knock them off their pedestal. Duke, who do you got in the World Series before we head to a break?
I got to go Yankees and Dodgers because baseball does want East-West like Lakers and Boston, so they want that money. And Yankees, man, they haven't been in a while, so it's about the time baseball says, "Okay, Yankees, let's make some games for you so you can get back there, make you look good." So all these Yankee fans who got the little hats in the closet right now can just bust them out and join the Yankee bandwagon because that's what they do. And I hate the Yankees just as much as Boston people too. So I just hate it.
I don't think you'll quite understand what the hatred is like.
What? I don't understand that my Atlanta Braves as a child went to 6 World Series against them and lost because I hate that as a child.
You may have understood then, but name 5 Atlanta Braves players now.
I can't, man, because they broke my heart, man.
And that just about does it for our first segment of the Ricky Williams Trilogy. We'll be back.
Hey, you want to get high, man? That's how they do. They got wooden balls, man. I got a joint here, man. I've been saving for a special occasion. Play on fire, though. Hey, I hope the drums don't mess up your upholstery, man. Nah, I'm in a band too, man. Oh, are you? Yeah, I'm a lead singer, man. Ah, that's hip. Yeah, we play everything from like Santana to El Chicano, man. You know, like everything. Hey, I'm just a love machine, and I don't work for nobody but you. I'm just a love machine, and I don't work for nobody but you. So when my temperature rise, and then I go for her thighs, and then I say guacamole in my juice, guacamole in my juice. Hijo de la chingada. Is that a joint, man? God damn, looks like a quarter pounder, man. Led Zeppelin. Man, be careful with that shit, man. Is it heavy stuff, man? Will it blow me away? You better put your seatbelt on, man. I'll tell you that much. Shit, I've been smoking since I was born, man. I could smoke anything, man. You know, like I smoked that Michoacan, man, Acapulco Gold, man. I even smoked that tight stick, you know? Tight stick? Yeah, you know, that stuff is tied to a stick, you know? Yeah, tight stick. Yeah, that didn't even do nothing to me, man. I could probably smoke this whole joint, man, and still walk away, man. Wouldn't be no problem at all, man. Talk it out, man. Kind of grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it? Hey, man. What? What? Oh. What's in this shit, man? Mostly Maui Wowie, man. Yeah? But it's got some Labrador in it. What's Labrador? It's dog shit. What? Yeah, my dog ate my stash, man. I had it on the table and the little motherfucker ate it, man. Yeah? So I had to follow him around the little baggie for 3 days before I got it back. Really blew the dog's mind. You mean we're smoking dog shit?
Welcome back. This is the Ricky Williams Trilogy. Time for your Fumblerooski Sports Weekly News Update. After 9 seasons in the NFL, Rob Gronkowski has officially retired. After being questioned, Yeah, that's right. You're welcome, everybody. After being asked what he will do next, he promptly responded, "Yo soy fiesta." The AAF is in danger of folding and lack of cooperation from the NFLPA. Majority owner Tom Dundon says if the players' union is not going to give us young players, we can't be a development league. We are looking at our options, one of which is discontinuing the league. Well, boys, looks like we're out of spring football yet again. And finally, the Patriots and the Chargers and the Giants are the 3 teams reportedly interested in Josh Rosen. Not happy about that, boys. Not happy about that at all.
Well, interesting news comments there. You know, we can talk about Rob Gronkowski because, you know, a 29-year-old leaving the NFL is unheard of these days because, you know, a 29-year-old is still hungry for money. But what does he have left to prove? He has 3 Super Bowl rings, one of which he wasn't on the field for. He also has many playoff victories. He had a GOAT throwing the ball to him, which might not be happening much longer. So why stick around? For Josh Rosen, that's a joke. So, yeah, I understand why he made his move to leave. The man could barely walk last year. So it's probably time for him to walk off into the sunset. Another guy retiring, you forgot to mention, maybe because he's old and nobody wants him anymore, is Jordan Nelson. Jordy Nelson has decided to leave the NFL due to the fact that, well, he's unwanted.
I don't think nobody was calling, man, and he had no reason to pick the phone up. So, and the Raiders didn't want him. So that's bad.
Yeah. Well,
the Raiders used to be where careers go to die. But
well,
now,
his career did die there. So it did work out.
It did work out. But also too, man, you called it last week or the week before. Tyreek Hill is in the talks of being traded because there's allegations of child abuse. Jonathan, again, the biggest Chief fan in the world, was right. He is
child abuse.
You did not know this?
I thought it was like another sexual misconduct.
No, it's child abuse, dude. Like apparently his son has a broken arm that might have been broken multiple times.
No, he Adrian Peterson him?
Even more violent than that, sir. I mean, we're talking about they were talking about like multiple breaks, possibly where it was broken and then broken again.
I hope that dude. Oh, dude, no.
So things don't look good as far as that's concerned, and so yeah. We don't know. Maybe his kid is clumsy as shit, and he keeps falling down. I don't know. That could be the case, but it doesn't sound like that's what's going on here.
It doesn't look
good, dude. Like, come on. These guys have to know you're not that simple-minded. People can't be spending 2 hours every single week doing a podcast, let alone the hours aside that I'm researching for it or attempting to research and falling into the Facebook realm. But like, come on, dude. Like, you're making millions of what are you doing? What are these people doing, dude?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It pisses me off, honestly. I mean, it's one thing to beat your kid and to put him in the hospital, and like, that's bad. That's bad enough. But like, you could afford a nanny, dude. Mm-hmm. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I'm sorry. I'm riled up.
No, I mean, as you should be, dude. It's not something that should be happening. I mean, again, like, you are a multi-million-dollar athlete. You are probably set for life with the fact that you're a top-tier player and everyone's talking about you.
When did this happen?
Well, we're not exactly sure when the acts of violence.
When did the allegations arise?
I would say probably 3 weeks ago. Would you?
It's about 2 weeks ago.
2-3 weeks ago, somewhere around there is when the news broke on this.
It was I think it was like on a Friday. So usually on news days, dump days like that, Fridays, nobody's really paying attention. So I can understand why it got kind of swept under the rug because not much happened.
Let's be honest though, Tyreek Hill has a sketchy past anyways. Hasn't he been like charged with beating old girlfriends and stuff? Like, we were talking about this not even a couple months ago when Kareem Hunt and all his shit went down.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about how Tyreek Hill already had a past.
Yeah, he had some stuff, but his, I guess, was settled or something. Something happened where it was expunged. And so because it was expunged, it didn't happen or something of that nature. I'm not exactly sure. Because again, when things get expunged, they're gone.
Legalities of it.
So since that was the case, then it looked like everything was okay and, smooth sailings from here on out. But apparently that's not, once a thug, I guess always a thug. Even if you hand that thug millions of dollars to change their life, they're still going to behave, I guess, the only way they know how. And so he apparently has been doing this. The second news broke of this, I knew he was no longer going to be a Chief. And Duke has confirmed that they are looking into trading.
And I heard the Patriots are interested, and that would be sick because we could get them cheap.
So you want child abuse on your team? That's awesome, man. You go ahead.
Here's the thing, dude.
Sure, yeah. I'm paying for his skills, not his character.
And that's what's interesting, dude. And that's very interesting because most of the NFL works that way, but the Chiefs don't. The Chiefs are like the only team that tries to run through with this moral high ground, and that's why they don't ever win anything. It's really hard to be a fan of the moral high ground when the rest of the league don't play that way.
I mean, listen, It's just over the line, man. They're just personal conduct things that this should not fly, man. And I don't think
fly.
It is true.
I don't disagree. No. I don't disagree with you at all, Duke. If dude, listen, if it were up to me, the asshole would be seeing time in jail and he would never see a football again. But because we know that's not how the thing works with rich people and how they get off of shit constantly, is because
I mean, I don't know, dude, because this may be over the line. Peterson got suspended for a year.
But he didn't did he go to jail?
Those charges brought up.
I mean, he didn't break any arms. He was whipping his kid, and he fruitfully admitted to it immediately and said, "This is the way I was raised. This is the way I will raise," basically, which is a little more of a thing that's out of my realm. That's out of my realm a little bit, because I wasn't beaten as a kid. I wasn't hit. I wasn't touched. I think I got spanked once. Like I think I got spanked once. Yeah, but it's not that thing, dude. Once you start,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying though. And there's a thing between disciplining a kid, which I understand because me and Jonathan come from the South. My grandmother told me to go cut a switch, so I kind of understand how like you are. I can understand Peterson coming from Texas may have accidentally went overboard. But yeah. Tyreek Hill, this is rage to break.
He broke his arm. He broke.
Like, that's rage. That's completely different.
You don't just grab a kid's arm so hard that you don't intend to break it or cause serious harm. That's what I'm trying to relate to, is that I don't understand the whole getting hit thing or getting beat thing, because it wasn't how I was raised. But I know kids who were raised that way and are fine, and I know would never harm their child or future children. But this dude broke his kid's arm. He should be in jail, man.
Yeah, that's not discipline. That's just straight abuse, man. That's like
you don't need to break an arm to discipline somebody, dude. Like that's part of my point too. Is like my father gave me the lower teeth like a bulldog, and he would say that's unacceptable, and I would immediately know to stop whatever I was doing and go to my room. Like that was just it. That was it. I didn't need to get hit. I was also afraid, and still are afraid sometimes, of confrontation, especially with like authority figures. So that's a thing that, I'm just saying, like, I'm just being blatantly honest here, is like, I don't really handle confrontation well. Like I'm a pretty easygoing type of dude. So like, I don't get that, but breaking your kid's arm, I mean, is Goodell not going to look into this at all? Like he's got it, right?
I believe he is. He's already looking at the Kraft thing.
I mean, is this not as bad as Ray Rice just because it wasn't on video?
I think this is
what? That's why I think it's not getting as much publicity, is that there is no videotape of him breaking the child's arm, and I think that's why it doesn't get any steam. If there was him actually physically doing it and you could see it, that's one thing, but to be told that he's done it, well, it just doesn't have the same effect,
Right. It's like, dude, I mean, that makes or breaks things nowadays. Like, I don't believe it unless I see it. That's a huge part of evidence, and that's a huge. I mean, imagine this story comes out the same time as Kareem Hunt kicking the girl, and it wasn't on video. Which is the bigger story?
The video. I mean, it's always gonna be...
No. But I'm saying if there was no video of Kareem.
Oh, you're saying if there was okay.
If there was no video of Kareem and there was no video of Tyreek Hill, and they both came out on the same day, which is bigger? Tyreek Hill's, right?
Yeah, Tyreek's easily.
Apparently,
but it won't be.
Apparently, the NFL is waiting until the Department of
That's what they say. That's what they're saying about Kraft too. But he's going to get 8 games.
No, but I'm saying that they're going to release their own investigation into the Tyreek Hill thing.
Right. I mean, because look, if he ends up on the Browns, I'm going to think it's going to be very shifty. Like that. Like all the Chiefs move over to the Browns because they find out all this stuff about him.
Hey, I don't want that guy on my fucking team, dude. You can always find somebody to catch a damn ball. I'm sorry, but that is just bad.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You know what? After I got fired up about it, I was wrong to say that. I wouldn't want him on my team. No, we already have Mike. We already have Michael Bennett. I don't want another scummy dude on my team. You're right. And I was wrong.
This ain't Josh Gordon who has a problem with fucking pills and Xanax and shit.
Right.
This is a guy that broke a child's arm.
Imagine that too. Imagine that. Josh Gordon's got suspended how many times, and he's never been a violent man.
I know.
Once in his life. Accordingly, like there's never been a reported incident that I know of, I could be wrong, but that I know of Josh Gordon abusing women only drugs. Like, how can you, are you hurting the drugs feelings or women's? Like, do you know what I'm saying?
No, I hear exactly what you're saying. And to be honest with you, I've brought this up before in others, segments. And it's like, how are you going to be okay with, violence against human beings? Even violence against dogs was seen as worse than violence against human beings. Like the league is really strange about like what their levels of bad are. Like drugs are really bad, violence against animals really bad, violence against people, I mean, that's your job. So what can we say? Like, it's weird, and like that shouldn't be. Like, you should still be like, your job is to be violent, but you don't get to be violent outside of your job. Like, people don't just get to do their job outside of the workplace all the time. There's very few people who can still do like, if you work as an operator of a ride at a theme park, you can't just go to every theme park and just get behind the reins and be like, nah, I know how to work this one too. Like, it doesn't work that way.
I mean, I could see Tyreek Hill sit for a year for this, if not banned from the league, because I don't know if anybody wants him after this, because Ray Rice, man.
No, people are going to want him, dude. The Cleveland Browns will take him. They clearly show they don't have class. They just want to win.
Yeah,
so
well,
if he's only suspended for half a season, they'll take it.
Yeah, well, this is going to be garbage because that's just awful. I mean, you want to find the right players. You can find some good people. There's abundance of people out there who can win. Tyreek Hill is not the only wide receiver out there. But, hey, whatever, Browns. I ain't a Browns fan, so you can do whatever you want, Browns. If you want to win that way, go win that way, man. You can. But on another football note, the rule changes. The committee, the owners meeting this week down in Phoenix. The competition committee has talked about the rule changes, and offensive and pass interference and defensive pass interference can be challenged now, Jonathan.
Man, it's stupid. It really is bad. Like, this is really all because some referees were too chicken shit to pull out their yellow flags and call a penalty that was blatant. Maybe it would have been late. But you know what? Flags come out a lot in the NFL where, the play is basically done and then all of a sudden a flag comes out. Don't tell me that it was too late to throw it, because I've seen them throw extremely late for flags before. So there's really no excuse for this. I still don't understand why these men haven't even been fired, but I guess it's because they're part-time employees. So maybe they're like, well, it's hard to get part-time employees. I don't know why.
But what they should was change the rule itself to 15 yards like they do in college. I am always mad when they say that you can throw a 70-yard bomb, and just because the guy got touched, you're going to put the ball right 70 yards away. That's just it, because now what are they going to do, man? Who's going to be the first team to throw a Hail Mary and say, oh, well, that's pass interference right there. Let's just do the ball.
Yeah, right. And it's gonna be all third down passes now, dude. If I was a coach, I would be throwing on nothing but third down. Why bother? So so are they gonna look at every single wide receiver and cover combo every single time? And if there's a minute call? And the other thing I heard, the difference in the rule now is that it's completely judgmental now.
Oh yeah, it's completely judgmental
because of the hindering, right? The significantly hindering a play. I don't get it.
Right. Yeah. So it's very judgmental. Plus, they're going to go on super slow mo, which is, I mean, at that point, you could see that like someone's fingertip barely touched them before the ball got there, and you can claim that they touched them before the ball was there. So that's pass interference. Now the ball needs to be moved 50 yards down the field. And now it's a first down. And, I mean, there's going to be a lot of teams bailed out with some bullshit of this, dude. There's going to be a lot of teams bailed out.
I'll tell my quarterback, just check that thing down the field, man, because whoever's a Hail Mary, dude, somebody's going to get touched.
And a guy who's going to benefit from that a lot is going to be Tom Brady. If he's ever in a situation where he has to come back to win the game, Tom Brady, if he throws his hands up and it's like, my wide receiver was held, my wide receiver was this, they'll look at that. And if that's what they think happened, they're going to move the ball down the field.
Yeah, Tom Brady, Big Ben, Aaron Rodgers, those three guys. Yeah,
Andrew Luck.
What happened? How dare you do that? It's like, hey, man, no, dude, it's gonna be horrible.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks that are going to get that call.
You know what though? I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what I am excited for. All right, the suspension when I'm watching NFL Red Zone at 2:45 on a Sunday afternoon, and there's big calls going off everywhere. I know it sucks. Like when it's your game, I know it sucks, and I know we're watching all the games that we can on a Sunday. I am at least like. I know most people probably aren't crazy about it, but my eyes are on the screen almost every single Sunday, unless, I got to go see my niece, which like she takes up all my time during a day. I'm not paying attention to anything else. But other than that, I mean, my eyes are on food, football, my fiance, and the rest of my family. But that witching hour is going to be sick, is it not? You know what I mean? Like huge 45-yard pass goes up and they're reviewing like a play. I mean, I know it sucks. I know it does. And I'm not for it. And we all should have seen this coming when the technology came out 12 years ago and we all said, we want more. And then 4 years later, we said, we want more. We want better replay. We want more significant impacts to human error.
But this is what happened. But this would have never happened if the human error didn't get so far out of hand. Like this is, again, none of us have ever watched a game where we haven't seen a really late flag thrown before. Where we're like,
You want to watch my Titans game? They love doing that shit. But about like 12 minutes later after plays fish, you just see that little guy go flag. They're like, what the hell is that?
Like it's basketball.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
So, like, if those guys had just done that in that situation, people would have been mad. Yeah, it would have been a situation at that point in time.
Right.
But it's one of those things that happened in football, and it will continue to happen in football. And people will be just like, well, it was a penalty, and we would have moved on,
True. Yeah, I think the problem is the referee's not making the call, right? Immediately. It's not the fact that it's not the fact that the penalty occurred. It's that the penalty wasn't called, right? And every single thing in our society, and especially in football and baseball and all other sports, is if you can't fix it by fixing the human, then you fix the technology that can fix the human. You know what I'm saying? Which is unfortunate. But it's just like, it's what we all wrote letters to congressmen for, 12 years ago, 10 years ago. Like the NFL, this was what we asked for. And you know what? This is what all those old timers that are like, this sucks, and I'm saying it sucks too, but like, this sucks. We got to micro-analyze every single play. This is what you get. So,
man, listen, there's a couple of things I want to make a point here. It's just a lame attempt for the NFL to apologize to Sean Payton and the Saints for a blown call.
It is very lame. And it's like a backhanded one, too, because it's like, well, now you're going to mess up the game for a full year.
Without accepting responsibility for their screw-ups. And that's all we wanted. We wanted those refs to say, hey, we screwed up. That's it. That's all Sean Payton really wanted. So, you know what? That was a bad call. That was a bad play. Another thing is that all these playoff games, they get these stupid referees together. Like from each referee from each different crew, the best one is picked to be in this like so-called the best umpires.
That's not good fluidity. That's not good fluidity, dude. I umpired baseball for 11 years, and the people I umpired the most with were the people that I understood the most.
Dude, exactly. It's a team, man. There's an umpired team when you guys call each game. You know what you're doing. You know where you're at. And these guys just didn't want to admit a mistake because they were, quote, the top dogs of the league. Well, you know what? Why don't you hire these guys for full time, pay them like regular employees, so that in the off season they're actually going to scrimmages, they're going viewing film, they're doing everything they can to better their skill and make better referees, but you're too cheap to pay them. Congratulations.
I mean, obviously that would be like the immediate fix. But even then, Like what I would do with the current situation, if you want to keep them part-time, get rid of this stupid rule, right? And what you do is you keep the same teams of guys together all year as much as you can, right? You might need a sub here and there for like, somebody's got a family event, somebody's got a funeral to go to. Obviously the NFL would bend for that. But you keep the same teams of referees all year. You have them referee all over the country, all different teams. And then you take statistics on them for missed calls, wrong calls, call reviews, call challenges, right? And like, I mean, we've compiled sports statistics since the 80s by hand. And now we're at a point where we have formulas for statistics. So my thing is, why don't we take statistics on the referees? We give the best percentages of calls made right. We give those guys the shot at the playoffs, and maybe they get paid a little extra for it. Maybe they get, maybe they all make $50,000 off a playoff game. Like, honest to God, you got to give these guys some incentive. And I know full-time, obviously, Duke, you've been saying it for ages, and it's the correct thing to do, is give these guys an actual job, because this is the biggest job in sports. There is no suckier job right now after today that is being a referee in the NFL. Like, I feel bad for those guys. I know they should have made the call. I know they should have owned up to it. And you know what? The NFL referee, association, or whoever runs that, they did say that they blew the call. I know the guys didn't come out and say it, but that would be my solution. You give them a little extra money for the guys that do it the best year round, and you have them do the playoffs.
There's also no consistency either, because I know it's hard not to be biased, but also, like, we got some referees that hates my team. I've watched him call other games, and he just does not do that for other teams. But when he gets to the AFC South,
you're a victim of the market, man.
No,
and that's,
he gets to the AFC, yeah. He gets to the AFC South, and it's like he hates his job. It's like, dude, you're a referee in the NFL, dude. How cool is that? And also, too, most of these guys are staying around for way too long. I think there should be an age, like, if you're like 75, you shouldn't be.
All right, let's not get ages now. If he can run
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but also there's not too many guys, I think, like, lining up to be an NFL referee. Like, you know what? There's two jobs I think I would never want in my entire life. And I almost went to MLB umpiring school, right? Like, that I could do. There's two jobs in my entire life that I could never do. Scratch that. 3, President of the United States, because I would walk around kicking down doors. I would never be an NFL referee. And then I would absolutely never be. I forget the last one.
All right, man.
Great. Well,
but continue.
I love you can't be a president or an NFL referee.
Right. Once I thought of president. And an NHL goaltender. Yeah, I could never be an NHL goaltender. That's what it was. It was the unimportant one.
Oh, okay. Well,
but dude, like, there's nobody my age. I umpired and played baseball with tons of kids, right? And a lot of the kids I played baseball with ended up trying to become an umpire at some point just to make a little bit of extra money. But nobody was ever lining up to be a referee.
Because an umpire just stands there. He's like, strike.
You watch yourself. I was animated as hell. Parents loved me, man.
Oh, great.
Dude, I was nuts about it. I was, you guys have no idea, dude. When I came onto the scene at 11 years old, my first game I ever did, I called a strike on this kid, and the ball had to be at his chin. It was like the worst call anybody could ever make. I was 11, like, whatever. It was my first game. You think the dad sitting there would give me like a break because his kid's like 6 years old. Like, shut up. Your kid's not going anywhere. And I like threatened to kick him out my first game, 11 years old. I was like, quiet down, coach, or you're hitting the bin. Like, yeah, man. I was full of character. When I was
already we can see the corruption of power even in an 11-year-old. So, I mean, yes, you never know what these refs are capable of doing, especially, I guess, if they get to a geriatric stage. So, folks, I mean, is there anything else we wanted to cover?
Them 76-year-olds.
I just want to say, man, I just had a question for the Moose. How do you rank the Gronk now since you're retired? I mean, I see a lot of people. I see a lot of people come out and say he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
It's a little bit tough for me to swallow that because I'm just saying, but I want to know how you.
So, like,
Crazy.
of my lifetime, maybe the best I've ever seen. It's certainly the most dominant within his period of time. He played 9 seasons, but let's just remember it was more like 7 with another 2 seasons of playoffs. He went through a lot of injuries, man. He was a lot of fun to watch. I cried when I found out. I mean, I'll be honest, dude. It was sad. I knew it was coming, and you guys know I've seen it coming. But like, you guys got to understand, he was the most dominant player over the last 9 years. I mean, really, if you look at his numbers and you look at the statistics he put up for a tight end, it would look like a wide receiver in some cases. I mean, yards per target was like
his position, but I don't know if he's the most dominant player of the league.
I would okay, maybe not the most dominant, but dude, like in the red zone, we used him so much it was unbearable. I mean, he had I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure he had like as many 10 touchdown years as every Hall of Fame tight end combined. And I know he did it with Tom Brady. And I know, again, I'm not going to say he's the greatest of all time. I'm not going to do that to Tony Gonzalez. I'm also not going to do it to Ozzie Newsome. Okay? No. I'll do it to Shannon Sharp. That guy can suck my farts. I'll do it to him.
And also Antonio.
No, I don't care. I don't care at all, dude.
And Gates put up some good years too.
Okay, Gates put up good years. Yeah, great. Where's your ring?
Oh, whoa! You can't do that because that's okay.
You told me not even 5 weeks ago that touchdowns. Championships.
If you're a quarterback,
only champions belong in a whole. Okay.
If you're a quarterback, because
you can't blame kickers and punters for not being in this.
Yeah. Hey man,
I know some people that would. Be easy.
But because I mean, how many times is the quarterback touching that ball? You know, he's your leader of your team. I could say that matters because that's why Tom Brady's the greatest. See, because he led those teams, man, to win.
Obviously, but dude, you got to understand too. Tom Brady, looking around the year of 2010, 2011. I mean, some people were saying he was done. But listen to what I'm saying.
People will say he's done.
Rob Gronkowski brought him to a whole new level that nobody think a quarterback could reach at any age he was at within the last 9 years. I mean, Rob Gronkowski
and Aaron
the reason that Tom Brady will be the greatest. Oh, yeah, dude. That was the greatest rookie tight end tandem of all time, without a doubt.
Don't forget about Aaron.
Those two tight ends.
Aaron helps.
Yeah. I will never forget about Aaron. I'll never forget about Aaron. But listen, this is what I'm going to say to you, right? I'm not going to give Gronk the top of all time spot. And the reasons why are because he didn't play as many years as he could have, or as, you know, a guy like Tony Gonzalez has, or even Jason Witten's coming back. I mean, Jesus. I think Gronk I still think Gronk had the most impactful. I mean, he was the most impactful guy on our team for 9 years, and we've had some of the most successful 9 years any squad could ever have. He was one of the most impactful guys in the league. Maybe not the most impactful, Jonathan, I'll give you that, but certainly up there with the greats. Like really, I'm being sincere, dude. Like I love Gronk, but I will not give him the top. I can't do it. I mean, I think he had great parts of every single tight end we've ever seen. He was a great combination. I mean, the way he could catch the ball was great. He blocked like no other. He hit people like Mike Ditka. He was
Sometimes
big in games like Sharp. True. That one time that everyone forgot about, but that was the raunchiest, dirtiest football play I've ever seen in my life. And I broke a dude's hand by stomping on it in freshman football.
Wow.
But Listen, Gronk's going to be missed, man, up here in the Northeast and all of the NFL. He was the most NBA-like personality in the league. He had so much personality, even the Patriots couldn't contain it, but I'm glad they made it work, man. It was a great 9 years. I'm sad that I bought his jersey the year he retired, but, man, what a run for a real special, real fun dude. I mean, I'm sad.
I'll give you that, dude. I'll give you that, but it just as how we live in a time of social media and fantasy football, people love to claim the greatest of all time, you know? And I mean, I grew up at a time of seeing Tony Gonzalez play for the Chiefs and doing things that basically tight ends weren't supposed to do when he was a tight end. Back growing up when we were watching football, Trent Green, Elvis Goreback, Big Pen.
He was paving the way. You know, he's paving the way for people like Gronk.
I mean, Gronk fell into a perfect position. He really did. If Gronk had been on any other team, I don't quite think they would have made it work as well as they did. But it just
you never know, man. Kittle looks pretty good coming out of San Francisco, and I mean,
true. Kittle looks great. He'll never be Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know.
True, but the fact that a dude played 9 seasons in the NFL and might be, he's arguably the best of all time. Again, I'm not going to give him that honor. I still think it belongs to
You're bossing people are, dude. They're like all over every article.
Yeah, but like
that's because they're homers, man, and you can't
exactly
listen to that. Well, thanks everyone for listening to the Ricky Williams Trilogy. Go Chiefs without most of our starting offensive players.
And go Titans, man.
Go Pats. Happy retirement, Gronk. Love you, boy.
It went out.
That was a good show.